Good morning and welcome to Killer Kustoms. I'm your host JF and this is Teddy.
Hi.
We're good at a couple things around here, but one of them is beautiful paint jobs. So beautiful paint jobs require beautiful body work. We'll do some work on the metal work some other day, but today we happen to be doing some body work, and we're going to show you how to mix Bondo properly, body filler, and how to apply it properly. And some of you might be surprised at what it looks like to start with, but I promise you the results are super important to us, and that's why we do it this particular way. All right, let's get at it. So basically take your favorite body filler. We're just going to do a small amount as an example here. Teddy's got to mix up a big batch for this door that we're going to do. Rule of thumb says that you need 1 inch of this hardener based on the size of that hole per golf ball size. And what do we got there? 3 golf balls? 2.5?
Just about 3.
Yeah, just about 3. So Teddy's going to put basically 3 inches of the hardener. Now, not everybody knows how important this step is, but it really is. Teddy's basically kneading the hardener into the body filler without adding a bunch of bubbles. I've seen this done all sorts of ways, but trust us when we say you want to knead it in there. He's basically applying pressure with the paddle and taking any sort of air bubbles out of it at the same time. That's important because when you're getting later into the project and you're sanding and you got a bunch of pinholes, you'll be really frustrated. So just watch that technique. Once the filler has completely transferred all the colorings and you don't see any stripes in it, you're ready to get to the body shop, or you're ready basically to get to the body panel and spread it out.
You want the wide panel? May as well, eh? Not the big wide one, but this one?
That one, yep. So you're always trying to do this relative to the size of the panel. Here we have a little panel. We're going to use a smaller paddle and try to get the whole panel covered. This will make sanding way easier, and it'll make leveling it with sandpaper, basically making it flat a lot easier. You can see here how I'm doing that. That's the start of the application process. We're going to try to get rid of some of these lines here. Notice I'm going corner to corner on this panel. You can see how even that looks already. We're going to fast forward you to a panel that really matters, and Teddy's going to show you how to do it on an actual door for the C10 project we're working on. We need to get that done today, so we'll let Teddy take over. Back to Bondo 101. Here's a perfectly good door. You can see it's rust-free, nice door that we stripped down to bare metal. The reason we do this is to actually float the whole surface nice and flat. Teddy's about to show you how that works and why it's important. If you're not too worried about having a super nice straight paint job, then this isn't the step for you. What this does is it floats all the metal. Yeah, the metal's straight, but it's not always straight to the truck itself. And we find if we put just a little 1/16 of filler all the way across, we're able to do a wicked job sanding. And once we've done a wicked job of sanding, then it keeps the primer down to a minimum. We've actually got a surface that'll sand really nice. The deal is, if you see here, there's bare metal, we're going to try to get around that. because the metal sands at a different rate than the Bondo does. And the same thing with filler, or any sort of filler, whether it's primer or what it is. So Teddy's going to skim coat the whole thing so we don't have a hard spot of metal and then a soft spot of filler and then another hard spot of metal. That creates small waves in your body. One of the keys to doing this properly is not to put a great amount of hardener in your filler. Otherwise, you won't be able to manipulate it as much. So we're just going to watch Teddy here. It takes a few minutes to spread it out in a way that we're really happy with. You can see it's starting to work right now. So you saw that Teddy just started out with stripes with the small spatula, just to get it evenly across the door. And now he's going to keep spreading this till he's got a really, really nice finish. And we're hoping to get rid of that little layer of metal there. But if you know these old 70s Chevy trucks, the doors kind of round off at the very face. So it might be impossible. See how it keeps popping up there, right? Teddy's got lots of experience, so he knows when to stop and when to keep going. I hope you guys can see visually that taking the time here to spread it out nice and even is what's going to make the sanding easier. If you do a botchy job of this, you can still get the straight, but it just takes more time when you're sanding. Are you calling that good, Teddy? Yep, there's his surface. Gonna knock that down and make it pretty. So here's the deal. Listen to this. So there isn't even an 1/8 of an inch of filler there, but we know that that's nice and straight. And as soon as we start to see darker spots show up like this, we stop, and then that way we know we're real close to the metal. Look at how nice that's gonna look. Looks awesome, Teddy. So here's the end of the 40 grit. It's looking really nice and flat. This is a really good example for you guys. If you look here and here, we're touching bare metal. This is still pretty thin, but we're gonna need to fill rather than sanding a big hollow into here. So we know enough to do that. And Teddy's switching to 80 grit because we don't want 40 grit scratches in the job. It's just going to smooth it right out. It's going to look really nice when it's done. So you can see there's some reverse browns here that Teddy's working on. Teddy, show us the block we're using. He's using one with a curve just to get into that curve. Again, you can see we're not pushing to get rid of all the filler. Because you're either going to put filler or primer to get them straight. We find this is way more efficient, especially that this is going to be a black truck. We want it straight before we get the primer, and use the primer just to isolate between the filler and the paint. Again, these are very, very small layers, a 1/16 in places, down in other places. So back at it here so you guys know step by step. You saw we had a couple little hollow spots. So rather than just treat them separately and have ups and downs, we just put one more super thin coat on, end to end. And what we want it to look like when we're done is what this door looks like. You can see Ted, he just reminded me, when you see edges like this and they're not damaged, just take your sandpaper and make sure you introduce metal so you can actually see that your body lines are going to match up. We'll show you that once it's on the truck. But again, if you've got 6 or 7 little low spots, you're way better off to just go ahead and put one more little thin skim on it. They knock down really, really fast. Then you can use your eyes and get it straight rather than having to feel around all the little bumps. That is one straight door. It's funny, long playing with the doors. Okay, now just gently close it. That's how it's done.